Hi everyone, it's Crystal at Nurture, and this is our first night of Wine and Beauty. So I hope that I see lots of people logging on to this feed. If you have any questions during the video, if you could, I'd like to see them at the bottom. Don't be afraid to ask anything at all, anything to do tonight. We're going to be discussing styling and products, so don't be afraid to, like I said, ask. I am not doing this from the shop. It's a very stormy night, and I decided to stay home. I have everything I need here, and actually I think it makes it a little bit more realistic for some of you that are at home that are watching this, so that you realize that you don't really need to be in a salon to get the same look. So I don't know about you guys, but I've got some whiskey. I'm not much of a wine drinker, but I do like wine. Tonight is some whiskey and some ginger ale. So cheers to you. All right, so let's get started. I hope that this evening will be half an hour roughly, and I have some more goodies lined up for the next couple of nights this week, and then we'll continue to the end of the month too. So thanks for watching. Let's talk about styling. One of the big things that a lot of you have been asking is, what do you do to get your hair to curl with a flat iron? So unfortunately my hair is triple barreled today, so I don't have a model here. My husband doesn't have long enough hair, and my hair's already done, but I'm going to show you what you're going to want to do. So of course, one of the biggest things with achieving a look that is flat ironed, curled, would be to make sure you have enough length to work with. So my hair is just past shoulder length. The longer it is, definitely the better. Too long is too much weight, so you need a happy medium. You also need to make sure that you have maybe some layers in your hair so that it actually will form some sort of a shape and not completely dragged down. So for all of you who just logged on, I see there's about 6 of you. This is awesome. We're going to start with what most of you want to know, which would be how to curl with a flat iron. So one of the most important things to make sure of is that, one, you have a flat iron that has a round edge on the plates. You don't want them to be completely straight. The straighter they are, the more likely you are to create little kinks in your hair, and I mean rivets, if you will. The second thing would be to make sure that you have a heat dial. So this one does. This is an Avanti. We do carry these at the shop at Nurture. Heat really depends on what your hair is like when you're styling. Curling iron or flat iron, either or. But finer hair actually needs lower heat, and thicker hair, coarser hair, needs more heat. You're going to want to make sure that when you are curling with your flat iron that you're using a heat protector. So we want to make sure that if at all possible that you're using a vegan protein. Surface is the brand that we carry at Nurture. They're made in Saskatoon, and this is one of our best sellers. It's liquidy. It's like water, but you can use this wet or dry. So when you're applying heat to your hair, you're taking out protein, and your hair is made up mostly of protein and moisture. So protein would go on wet before you blow dry, and the nice thing about the tonic is you can apply it before you take your pieces and you start your curl. So protein tonic is definitely a go-to. So you're going to want to wash. Yes, Saskatoon, I know, we're very happy to be a Canadian-based business, so we have as many Canadian products as possible. Okay, so you're going to turn your flat iron on. You're going to make sure that hopefully it's not one that's really big and clunky with their plates, and you're going to wait for it to heat up. Okay, so I didn't bring any clips with me, but you're probably going to want to start in the bottom section of your hair. So a clip, bobby pin, elastic, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to clip the back up, and you're going to want to start in the nape down here. So if you like a more natural look with your curls, you're going to want to take bigger pieces. The smaller the pieces that you take, the more perfect it will look. And right now, I would say what's on trend is really not that perfect curl. It's more of a very loose wave or a beach wave. If you're looking for a beach wave, when you curl, you're going to want to leave the bottom, I would say, I don't know, this much. you're going to want to leave a little bit of bottom of your hair out of the curl to make it look more natural. If you curl all the way to the bottom, it's going to look very, very perfect. So keep that in mind. I'm going to do a little demonstration on my hair. You won't be able to see how it looks, but I promise you that I will do a demonstration someday this week when I'm doing my hair, and I will do a live video, I promise, from wet to dry, finished. Okay, so again, in the back, depending on what you're looking to achieve, you're going to take a section. Now, like I say, the bigger section, the more messy, the smaller section, the more perfect. Okay, flat iron. The size is important. Make sure that it is, hi Jocelyn, small. You don't want a wide flat iron because it will not give you that curve that you're looking for. Okay, so this is the section you're going to take. You're going to put the curling iron, or pardon me, the flat iron in 2 inches from your scalp, I would say. Okay, you're going to close. Now you need to, this is not on, you need to be fairly swift with your hand movements. You do not want to turn into one of those women on YouTube who made history because they burnt their hair off. So make sure that maybe you try it with it not on and then turn it on someday and try it. Turn the heat down low. As you get better, you can adjust your heat. So, okay. A couple inches from the scalp, you're going to put it in, and ideally you want this to turn all the way around a full circle and meet your hand on the other side. When you do that, that creates a curl. Okay, so if this were on, in it goes around a full curl. There's the other side, and you can pull it. Obviously this is going to be straight, right? And then let it out. So I'm sorry that you really can't see that, but that's the gist. Don't think that each side has to be even, because even my guests that are in my chair when I'm doing this, they don't look the same. And I really like to emphasize that we're not perfect because the sides are never the same. So don't think that you need to make yours perfect either. However, a lot of people that have longer hair do want to make sure that the front is done backwards. So they'll do backwards on this side, and the opposite side is completely opposite movements. So really what you have to do is you have to get used to moving your wrist. You have to make sure you have the right size flat iron. And if you have a little bit more texture in your hair, so if you've got wavy hair and you can let it air dry and work with it once it's air dried, excuse me, you're going to have a really, really nice finish. If someone's hair is already flat ironed with heat and then you go back in and you try to do it again, it's not going to come out the same. It's going to be maybe a little harder to get that wave in. So if you're doing the back of your head, like I had said, you're going to take this section up, start at the nape. You're going to do these first. Don't worry about making it perfect, like I said. So do one on the side, one on this side. Try to feel for what's straight in the very back. If you watch TV at all and you know that people are doing their own hair, you know that they don't really deal with the back and the center. They just worry about what's on the sides. So you're going to take another section from the very back, do the exact same thing, but it's honestly just mastering the putting it in, wrapping it around, bringing it around to the same side, and giving it a little pull. That's the biggest key. If you have some clips in your hair, that's awesome. You're going to probably separate from maybe the brows back again, and you're going to take this section here, and you're going to work with that. Width-wise, you can probably do a section that's, I don't know, 2 inches or so, and it will still look really good. If you're looking for something that's a little more perfect, the smaller the pieces, the more texture and the more definition that's going to be in your finished look. Most people would simply finish it with some hairspray, maybe some cream wax, but ideally, myself, I like to be able to work with my hair for a few days, especially if I take the time to curl it. I have very, very fine hair, and it's very flat, and it's thin too. So for me, the most important thing with styling is making sure that you're prepping your hair so that you get a couple days out of it. Why would you want to do it every day? You don't want to do it every day. So one of my favorite second products is the Trinity Dry Shampoo. So again, this is from Saskatoon. And the dry shampoo is an ash-based shampoo. It goes on completely clear. This is a brand new bottle. But a lot of the times it's really chalky. People don't like to use it because if they've got dark hair, you can tell there's something in it. So right now you can see from the top of my lamp up here that my hair is quite shiny. You can see what it does, I guess, as I spray. It doesn't take the shine away. Really, you want to use this at nighttime. One of my good friends, Lindsay, brought this up to me. She said if you put it in at nighttime, it will help absorb any oils that come out over the evening. And in the morning, you're not struggling to get rid of the greasy hair. So the nice part about this is it will help combat shine. It'll give a little bit of a matte texture. And it also gives texture, I find, to my fine hair, along with cleansing in a dry way and refreshing the scent. The scent's really nice. My husband loves the scent. And then, of course, you can add some more in the morning. But for me, with my fine hair, looking for products that add texture to, length, a lot of the times you don't like to run your fingers through it and it gets stuck. Most women want to feel nothing in their hair at all. And that's what I like about the Surface products. They're pretty natural. They feel really good. But this stuff is awesome. I've actually purchased Herbal Essence Dry Shampoo from the stores when it came out. In my business, I do like to try every product that I bring on the shelf because if I don't really know how it compares. So why would I sell it to you? So I found with the dry shampoo from the drugstore that it lasts maybe a week and it's about $10. So our Trinity dry shampoo is $28.85 plus tax. You will get this 10% off with a color at Nurture because we do 10% off any protein or moisture products. But this will last me maybe a month or two. So pretty good deal. The other suggestion that I would have when styling hair, whether or not you're going to use your flat iron to curl or if you're going to do any other method of styling, is to think about what's going on up here. So a lot of people come in, they don't really want to put product in their hair, they don't want to feel it, they say anything that's on their scalp might make them a little itchy, or it's just something that hasn't been taught to them. That's what a lot of the concern would be that I run into. People aren't taught properly how to do their hair at home. So this is why we are here tonight. So one of my new favorite products is this Surface Push Powder. So a lot of you have used, I'm sure, dusting powders in your hair for when you're backcombing or when you're putting it up in a ponytail, just to give it some extra volume. This product is wonderful in wet hair. So before you get to the dry stage, obviously what you do with your hair before you use your hot tools is very important as well. So I like to recommend that anybody that's doing a style with a brush, put something at the root. If not, your hair is simply just laying here like this, and it's going to absorb all the moisture, all the oils, and it's going to look very limp and it's going to look very greasy very quickly. There's lots of sprays. We have sprays that you can put in at the root before you dry, but honestly, this powder has been a knockout for us. So it kind of comes out like baby powder, and you literally just need to tap it or shake it. You can use it wet or dry, but I really like round brushing with this at the root. It gives you a lot of lift and a lot more longevity out of your style too. I think the reason it works so good when it is in wet hair is it kind of, it dilutes the product a little bit so it's not so sticky. And then if you need more, you can add more in once it's dry. But again, going back to styling, before we use any hot tools on wet hair, we want to get the right products. So the protein tonic can go on wet as well. The push powder can go on your roots wet. And if you really have dry ends, especially right now with the weather here in Alberta, it's dry. So oils are really important. When you do style, oils do tend to take out the hold factor. If you have styling products in there that's supposed to hold your style in, or creams that have a hold factor, this will dilute the hold factor, any sort of oil. The nice thing about the Surface Bath Suit Oil is it's silicone free. It's literally like water. So when you're styling, you put your other products in that I had mentioned, take a little bit, rub it in your hands, and you really only want to put it on everything that is in your ponytail. So everything from your ear down. Anything above that, it's not really necessary. This is older hair, so you want to make sure you give it some love. 77% of the hair structure is made of protein. So again, that's where this bad boy comes into play. Of course, there's shampoo and conditioner as well. And then 22% is, or 20%, sorry, is moisture. So we're going to put a little bit of this in for shine. Now, I want to talk about brushes. I don't see any questions coming in here, guys, so if you have questions, anybody want to take a second to write them in, and I'll have a drink and you can let me know what you need to know. Apple whiskey's so good. My husband thinks that the dry shampoo smells really good. Yep. And yes, Jocelyn, I think that's you. The Bath Suit Oil works really good on brightening tattoos. It's a really good multi-purpose oil. Some people use it as a moisturizer on their face. It's really good on dry cuticles. Very good. Burns. You name it. It's almost like an aloe vera gel, if you will, but it has different properties. Okay, so no questions. Perfect. I want to talk about brushes. So a lot of people will come in and they say they don't use brushes when they dry their hair, which is fine. It really is fine. However, a lot of the times people don't know the benefits of using brushes. Hey, Ben, thanks for watching. You're gonna let your hair grow out so you can use some of these tips? Okay, so I want to talk about round brushes first. These bad boys are perfect for giving you volume. And everybody wants volume from the root, right? So if you can get yourself some clips, it's very easy to go through your hair and do some round brushing. Hi, Paula. If you do round brush with something at the root, your hair will be set for a couple of days. Now you think about this, when you go and have your hair upstyled for a wedding, a lot of the time they need to do something to give your hair lots of movement, whether it's putting in hot rollers or they do a set with the flat iron or a set with the curling iron, either or, but they have to prep your hair so that it actually has movement and has fullness and has suppleness, and I call it dancing. Your hair needs to dance. So when you round brush with a brush with metal bristles, one, it helps your hair dry faster. Metal bristles aren't necessarily the healthiest for your hair, especially if your hair is damaged, because they're quite hard. This is a very old brush, but it is, it's my good old go-to. And my husband brought me some clips. What a sweet guy. Okay, so when you're round brushing, one of the biggest things is people don't know what to do with the round brush. They don't know how to, they get it stuck in their hair and then they're like, no, I'm not doing that again. It's really easy. I would suggest taking a section from ear to ear. If anybody needs clips, you can come and get them at the shop. I will bring them in for you. Okay, clip it up. You only need to do this in 3 sections. That's it. Of course, you're going to put your push powder around your root and you're going to dry. So these brushes also are very important to ensure you have something with the right size. If you have, a lot of people have a misconception that if you have a bigger round brush that you're going to get more volume, but that's so not true. Maybe if you have super long hair, but for the most part, you want your brush, when it goes in, to actually sit at your scalp, because that's where you want the root. If the brush is too big and it can't sit at your scalp, it's not going to do anything for you. Hi, Wendy. So this is a normal size brush. I would say it's about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches. Okay. And literally you can just go all the way around the hair. You're going to want to focus on the ends if you want them to be rounded under. But again, a lot of stuff that we get used to doing in the salon is wrists, hand motions, and getting coordinated with the dryer and the hot tools in your other hand. So, I don't really move my wrist. I move my fingers like this. So you guys maybe practice this at home too if you want to go grab one, or if you can remember later to do this, but just practice this. And this way you won't get it stuck in your hair. I remember getting my grandfather's round brush stuck in my hair when I was a kid. How many of you had to get your parents to cut it out of your hair? That's probably why most of you don't use it. Anyway, so bottom section, you're going to use the round brush, get in, lift it up at the root, and focus on the ends if you want it rounded underneath. So that's only one section. You can take from temples back and do from here to here with your round brush, and the top. The top is the most important, so that's your third section. You're going to have your push powder in there. If you want, you can tip it upside down and dry your roots really well first for a little bit. Get them semi-dry, and then you're going to want to go in with your round brush. The biggest thing that you learn in hair school that I like to try to teach you right now is to make sure that you're lifting straight up. A lot of the times when people are doing this at home, they're down here. I remember watching my mom last time I was home. She was round brushing down here. Like, Mom, how are you going to get any volume if you're down there? You want the volume up here. Hi, Lindsay. Depending on what your bangs look like, you might want to dry your bangs down. I definitely suggest side to side for bangs, and that way you don't get any cowlicks or splits in your hairline. Obviously, you want to do back here because everybody wants, this area of distribution, it's called, to not split. So make sure you definitely get your push powder back there, and make sure you have your round brush. When you have a brush versus your fingers, you're putting more tension in that one area that you're focusing on. So if there's tension, you're going to be able to have more, what's the word? I need Grace here. She's good with words. I'm not good with the words. You're going to have more control. With your fingers, it's just going to do whatever it's going to do. But with the brush, with you pulling on it, it's going to have more control, especially with the product, and it's going to lay perfectly where you want it to, hopefully. With the sides, you're going to want to make sure that you are doing upwards motions. So see how my fingers are? Not my wrist, my fingers on each side. Okay? That's what you're going to want to do. So you're really going to want to practice this. If any of you want to go get a brush right now, go ahead. We got a little while yet. This is what you're going to want to do. No wrists. Okay? So I talked a little bit about metal bristles. Metal bristles are not necessarily, as I said, the best thing for your hair, just because they're really, really rough. I don't have a boar bristle brush with me, but I do have my teasing comb. And it will show you, this is my personal one, so pardon the couple hairs, but it's a softer, more flexible bristle. So a round brush with this type of bristle is going to do a little bit more for your hair than the metal bristles. The boar bristles are going to help distribute healthy oils from your scalp all the way down your hair, just because of the material that they are. They're a lot softer as well. It's not going to allow your hair to dry as quickly, but it does have more tension. If any of you right now have either brushes at home, if you have a teasing brush, you can use that too. If you have a metal brush, I want you to, maybe you can see I'll ruin my hair for you guys, that's fine. But, okay, I'll brush it out first. There, okay. So the metal brush is in my hair. And I'm barely pulling on it, and it's coming right through my hair, no problem. See, there's my fingers again. That's what you have to master for styling your hair at home, the fingers. So again, there's less tension with metal bristles than there are the boar bristles. And I know this is not a round brush, but if I put this in, you should see how harder it is to get through my hair. It has more tension. The more tension you have in your hair, the straighter it is, the smoother it will be, and for the most part, the more structured too. Your brush size does matter as well. So if you have a brush that's smaller than larger, you're probably going to get, if you have longer hair and you can wrap it around your hair a couple times, you're going to get a more curl, because it can wrap around the whole brush and create a C, or an S, and that's what creates a curl in hair. The really small round brushes are a little tedious, and like I say, you probably will get them stuck, but if you can wrap the hair around the brush a couple times, you will have a curl. The bigger the brush, usually it's just for smoothing. So when you are, Jocelyn, you're so funny. It does add great shine because it pulls the moisture down from the scalp through to the ends. Okay, any questions on brushes? I'd love to see if you guys have any questions. It's just on my cell phone, so I think I have enough room to read what you guys are asking. Okay, paddle brushes. These things are really a great tool for a lot of people. If you're in a hurry and you're styling in the morning and your hair is wet, again, you want to make sure that you have either a volume spray or push powder at your root so that it has some movement and capabilities of dancing. It'll help splits, of course, calyx in your fringe area or in the back of your points of distribution that everybody hates so much. But this is really quick. So one thing that I really like to do with my paddle brush, whether I'm here, Paula, do you carry different brushes at Nurture? We do have several brushes. Right now we have a small to medium sized round brush. We have a couple of picks, I believe, and push powder. Yes, we have push powder there. I think we might have a teasing brush. I'm not 100% sure. However, keeping them in stock is really difficult because everybody that comes in is going to be a little different with their requests, and I don't want them to go home with something that's really not meant for the customer to go home with just because it's in stock. So at Nurture, we have no problem doing a custom order for you. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to even go in and hand pick a brush for a guest, and that's completely fine with us. But we would rather you spend good money on a good quality brush that's perfect for what you need it for. So custom orders go in every Friday. Don't hesitate to call or come in and we can definitely help you with that. But back to the paddle brush. Tilt your head upside down, get it nice and free from the scalp, and then literally side to side to side to side. Really, really easy. Creates a lot of movement in the hair. A lot of times when you can just run your fingers through your hair and it just feels so effortless and it sits really nice, it's because it's got movement right from the root. So that's very, very important. A paddle brush can do it, especially when you're in a hurry. But if you go through and you curl your hair or you round brush your hair, you're more likely to actually get a couple days out of it versus maybe a day or two with the paddle brush. And that's just because it doesn't have any shape. When you have shape, you can work with it. One of my other really, really favorite tools is one of these bad boys. This is what I have done to my hair today. This is a triple barrel. These are really popular when I went to hair school. They give you a lot of volume. They give you a lot of curl, depending on if you break it up or if you brush it out. I just brush this side out so you can see what it's capable of doing. This side's not brushed out. But perfect at setting your hair for wearing it down or pulling it up. I can probably get 3 or 4 days out of my hair if I use this versus 2 days if I just use the flat iron and curl. One thing that's very important is that you have the right temperature, which I mentioned in the beginning, for each different hair type. When I purchased this, I actually threw the instructions out right away, and a lot of you were asking about tips for fine hair. So if you know that somebody was watching this or that was commenting on this thread and they were wondering about fine hair, can you maybe tag them in it so that they can see this when I'm done? But when I purchased this, like I said, I threw the instructions away and I started sectioning my hair, and it's really cool. It's really fun to use too. And this is not plugged in. I sat there and I waited and I took it out and it wasn't crimped, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, my hair should be curling by now. Little did I know, but I did find out very early in my career that fine hair needs lower heat. So I had this thing turned up to whatever it goes to, 25, and it did nothing. It literally fell right out and it was straight. And you do way more damage to your hair too if it's on higher heat than what's necessary. So I got the instructions out of the garbage. I looked it up, and sure enough, it said for fine hair, use low heat. So I think I keep it on 10 now, and it goes up to 25, and my hair's perfect. So that goes for flat irons too, and that goes for curling irons. A lot of you will struggle at home to curl your hair, crimp your hair, triple barrel your hair and you say it falls out. And every one of you usually say, it's up as high as it goes. I don't know why it's not working. So, just food for thought. All right, we're sitting at about 8:25, I think, according to my house clock. So, any questions at all about hot tools? There is a really cool hot tool that has come out in the last 5 years, like a bubble wand or the barrel wands. Low heat, yeah, Terry, kind of crazy, but I'm glad that you watched this and now you know, and I hope you'll try it tomorrow. And hopefully it turns out that I'm not lying. But if your hair is very fine and very limp, it would be really, really good to give me some feedback. Hopefully it does work for you. Why ruin your hair trying to increase that temperature? Yes, so the bubble wands and the, here I am with my words again. Anyway, you twist the hair around them. One's a bubble one, the other one, I don't know what it's called. But they're really nice at creating a really nice loose wave, especially for long hair. It's very easy because you can just take a big old chunk and wrap it around, shake it out, and you're done. So again, it's all about just creating some sort of shape in the hair when you're styling to work with at a later date. I'm going to also show you this really quick. This is my new favorite thing, so I hope you guys can watch this and love it. Some of you are asking for really quick ways to get ready in the morning, and I fell in love with these headbands a couple months ago. This is just an old one that I have. I do have a really cool braided one, but now that my hair is burgundy, it doesn't match because it's brown. And my hair is kind of sort of half done, but this will give you the gist of it. So you want to make sure that it has elastic in the back. Okay. This is really quick and easy when you are on maybe day 2 or day 3 hair and you really got to go. So you want to make sure that your hair is, it's got some shape in it. It has some volume. Maybe you've had the push powder in there. But you put it down underneath your occipital bone, okay? If my hair wasn't pinned up right now, I would want to take this stuff and bring it back and hook it underneath all of this elastic. So in the back, unfortunately you won't be able to see this, I don't think, but my hair will be done in 2 seconds. So I feel like you guys are all going to come into Nurture and ask for headbands, and I don't have any. But you can get them at the dollar store, you can get them at Claire's. It's done. Look how easy that is. And it's cute. I always get compliments on my hair when I wear it like this. Stays all day. It's awesome. Paula, did you see? Yeah, one of my favorites. So, I hope that's one quick and easy style for most of you to do. Just make sure they're not too big, because if they're too loose, then they probably won't hold your hair. If any of you want a really, really good one, I can definitely bring you in one. You probably have it for the rest of your life, hopefully. Okay, so I have a few more things left, and it's mostly product talk I want to talk about. So if you have any questions right now that I can answer very quickly about styling, hot tools, or whatnot, please type away so I don't miss you. I'll probably do another one of these nights too. I have my calendar set for all of the rest of Wine and Beauty nights for the rest of the month, and I will post that tomorrow. So you guys can put it in your phones, tag a girlfriend, or get together at each other's houses and play with each other's hair. That's kind of fun. I love whiskey. It's so good. Okay, I don't see any... Well, why does low heat work better? Fine hair, so it's good for fine hair. Low heat won't work for someone with really coarse hair. Won't do anything. Or really frizzy hair. Fine hair is very fragile, and it can be damaged very, very easily. There's 3 layers typically to the structure of a hair, of a normal hair, and fine hair only has 2 layers. So it's very susceptible to breakage. It needs different attention. Hair types are almost like different types of laundry. So your fine hair is actually kind of like your delicates. Same as curly hair. Curly hair is kind of like your synthetic and delicate cycles. You need to treat them completely different. So I think the reason that low heat works better is because it has, your hair actually has less to it, and it needs a lot less to actually work. I don't know why high heat doesn't work, but I'm glad I know it doesn't work and I don't have to keep trying. Okay, so the last couple things I want to talk about in this segment tonight is product for styling. So protein. As I mentioned in the beginning, the hair structure is made up of 77% protein, 20% moisture, and the rest are actually color molecules and lipids. Lipids are kind of what gives your hair that movement when you move your head. I don't think I have very many myself. So protein, there's the Trinity line with Surface. It is a Canadian and chemical-free line. It has no parabens, no silicone, no fragrance, no perfumes, no gluten. And parabens are, of course, very, very important to me to not have in my product. They're directly linked to cancer, and I don't want them on my body, and I don't want to put it on my guests either because I want you all to be healthy. So we can talk about that a whole other night. But I love Surface too, Lindsay. The Trinity line does have a shampoo and a conditioner. This is completely protein based. So we do have a protein cream as well in the line. These two are definitely one of our top sellers for anybody that colors their hair or anybody that uses heat product. And it's because they are complete vegan products and a vegan protein made from amaranth. It's a flower. I hope I got the flower. I hope I got that right. I believe it's amaranth. I like to think I know my product. Yes, amaranth. This stuff flies off the shelf. This stuff kind of smells like Ralph Lauren's perfume, even though there's no perfume in it. It smells wonderful. A lot of their fragrances come directly from the flowers. But this product is a little different because this goes on only wet. So if you really don't do a lot of heat styling once your hair is dry, you don't necessarily need the tonic to do both, but this is more of a multi product. This is meant for people who have a little bit of a thicker hair type or who's very dry, one of the two. Of course, the Trinity Dry Shampoo, if you missed that in the beginning, this stuff is amazing. I said I've got the light above my head here so you can see as it goes on that it doesn't dull the shine at all. And it goes on clear. So it's not going to leave any residue on your hair. Paula, you're scent sensitive and you're able to use the product with no problem. I'm very happy that we have a product line that you can use. I know that there are people from all over Alberta that do come to Nurture because we have product like that to offer to you. Protein. Okay, I took care of all the protein products. Now, moisture. We do have the Basu line for shampoo and conditioner. It's a little heavy. It's probably the most heaviest that we do have. Again, it's silicone free. But the oil is really good to just add in a little bit of moisture and shine when necessary, and you don't really need anything else. Mask once in a while is really good too, but for styling, of course, you're applying heat, you're taking a little bit of the moisture out, you want to make sure you replace it. This is an awesome option. Don't have the price point with me, sorry guys, but it's at Nurture. When people talk about vegan proteins and vegan products, there's a big difference between vegan protein and mechanically made or man-made synthetic protein. Redken would be an option of a synthetically made protein line, so their extreme line. I used to work with Redken, so I'm very knowledgeable on the product. It is a man-made protein, so it does and can completely dry your hair out because it over-proteinizes your hair. Joico K-Pack is the exact same. It's a man-made protein, so it doesn't do anything else but eventually over-proteinizes, and then your hair feels kind of dry and hay-like. I've done that before. I've used a whole bottle, and all of a sudden it just doesn't feel so good. So the difference between a vegan-based protein is that eventually it will just rinse off. It doesn't over-proteinize the hair. You can't with a vegan protein, which is really nice. A lot of people love their protein products because of heat and coloring, so just consider that the next time you purchase. Dry shampoo I went over, push powder I did, and heat levels, making sure you turn them down for fine-haired people, and just make sure it's not super high if you don't really need it. It's just going to dry your hair out. So that's going to wrap up. I think I did pretty good, close to 30 minutes, guys. I've seen a few people log off recently, but we have a lot more to talk about this month. I will put the list up tomorrow. I left it on my desk, so I can't exactly tell you what to come back for tomorrow night, but tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, same deal, wine, pajamas. I'm not in my pajamas, but hopefully you're in your pajamas because they're comfortable. I might be at the shop tomorrow night. Thank you everybody for joining. I hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope it stays posted on Facebook so that all your friends can see what you learned tonight, and maybe there will be more viewers tomorrow night, but I'm very happy that you all joined, and again, thank you. So good night.